Okay, in lesson 8, we were adding and subtracting whole numbers and mixed numbers. Okay, in school today, we did a little different instead of number line. We went with a horizontal method. We took 2 minus 1 and 5/8, and we did this because we wanted to show, just like we did with decimals, we filled in the empty gaps. And then, of course, this one here, this is actually 2 and 0/8, okay? And we can't subtract 5/8 from 0/8, so we're going to regroup and take one whole away from here. And that whole is going to be represented as 8/8. Now we have 8/8 minus 5/8 gives us 3/8. And 1 minus 1 gives us 0. So our answer would be 3/8. Our next one, we have 5 and 2/5. And we're adding 2 and 3/5. Now, just like in decimals, we add fractions first, so 2/5 plus 3/5 would give us 5/5. 5 plus 2 would give us 7. And 5/5 is equal in the whole, so this is actually equal to 8. On D, we have 4, and we're subtracting 2 and 5/7. Now, once again, we actually have 0/7 here right now. So we're going to regroup, take one whole, and this is going to become 7/7. And 7/7 minus 5/7 would be 2/7. 3 minus 2 would give us 1. So our answer would be 1 and 2/7. I forgot to write our 8 up there. Next, we have 8 and 4/5, and we're going to add 7 wholes. And the same thing, I just like filling it in, make them look the same. We have 4/5 minus 0/5 gives us 4/5. 8 plus 7 gives us 15. So our answer would be 15/4/5. On F, we have 18, and we're going to subtract 15 and 3/4 from it. And we know we have 0/4 here with the 18 right now. We're going to take one whole, make that 17. The 0/4 turns into 4/4. We have 4/4 minus 3/4 gives us 1/4, and 17 minus 15 gives us 2. So our answer is 2 and 1/4. G, we have 16, and we're adding 18 and 5/6. I like putting a 0/6 in here. So we end up 0/6 plus 5/6 gives us 5/6. 6 plus 8 is 14. We carry 1, and we end up with 34 and 5/6. Next, we have 100, and we're going to subtract 50 and 3/8 from it. Now we know we have 0/8 here. We're going to take 1 away, which makes it 99. And that's going to be 8/8 here now. 8/8 minus 3/8 is 5/8. 99 minus 50 would give us 49. So we're going to end up with 49 and 5/8. The total length of two ribbons is 13 meters. If one ribbon is 7 and 5/8 meters long, what is the length of the other ribbon? Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to make a tape diagram just so we can see it. And we know the total length here is 13 meters. And it says one of them is 7 and 5/8 meters. And this is, we'll just call it ribbon 1. So this one would be ribbon 2, and we don't know what that is. So in order to solve for this one, we can see we have 13 meters, and we have to subtract 7 and 5/8 meters to get us the length of the second ribbon. So we have 13, and we're going to subtract 7 and 5/8. Now we're going to regroup, and we end up with 12. Now we have 8/8. 8/8 minus 5/8 is 3/8. 12 minus 7 is equal to 5. So this one has to be 5 and 3/8. Second ribbon is 5 and 3/8 meters long. It took Sandy 2 hours to jog 13 miles. She ran 7.5 miles in the first hour. How far did she run during the second hour? The time they're giving us is really irrelevant. It's kind of a distractor because we know the total distance is 13 miles. It says the first half was 7.5. This was the first hour. This here is the second hour, and we're looking for how far did she run. So just like before, we can see we have 13 miles, and we're going to subtract 7.5 miles to solve for the unknown value. So we have 13, 7 1/2, subtracting it, and this is going to be from 12 to 2 seconds, which leaves us 1/2. 12 minus 7 is 5. So this one will be 7 1/2. So 5.5 miles she ran on second hour. Andre says that 5 3/4 plus 2 1/4 equals 7 1/2 because 7 1/4 equals 7 1/2. Identify his mistake. Draw a picture to prove that he is wrong. Okay, let's start with a tape diagram. And we know that he's trying to say that the total here, and he's saying that it's 7.5. Well, we know that 5 3/4 and 2 1/4 are what they're adding together. So if you take 5 3/4 and add 2 1/4, 3/4 plus 1/4 would be 4/4. 5 plus 2 would be 7. So this would equal 8. So we can see that his is wrong. Well, let's see exactly what he did. How could he have got 7 4/8? Because that's basically what he's saying. He's saying 7 4/8. But if you look what he did, you have 5 3/4 and 2 1/4. Assuming what he did was to go 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. This is a very common mistake by students. And you end up with 7 4/8. So this is what the mistake he made. Remember, you do not add the denominators. You sit there and keep the same denominator. So that should have been 4/4 instead of 4/8.